All right, so South Africa, thank you. A 1.4 billion thank yous to you because
Shivam, all okay?
what has happened is,
Sure you won't burn firecrackers over here, right?
yeah,
9 wickets. Shivam, how look how tables turn, look how fickle we can be.
Yeah.
Just a couple of days back, we were all dissing the South Africans. We all had expletives for them. We were all cursing them for inflicting such a heavy defeat on India, for ending India's winning streak in the T20 World Cup. And here we are, cheering for them so much so that our producer Shivam is almost dancing quite literally behind the cameras.
thankfully not naked, but yes,
Dancing to Waka Waka.
waka waka indeed, because that is the way when you're looking at it. Because look what has
When have you
happened.
done that?
It might
Have I missed
happen.
something?
You might have.
Are there promises between the two of you?
No promises at all, because what has happened? 9-wicket win, which has dented West Indies' net run rate also by a huge margin.
It's also taken net run rate out of the equation pretty much. Because
Yes.
now for India, even if they win both their games by 1 run
Yeah.
or even in a super over,
Yeah, because
they'll get points in hand. 4 points over West Indies 2.
Look,
Can I just say
5.3 to
one thing now?
1.7.
The one word everyone's been fussing over for the last couple of days, net run rate, forget that from an Indian standpoint now. Now you really need not worry about the net run rate. All you need to worry about is 2 wins.
Yes.
That's it. You get those 2 wins, one of them tonight hopefully against Zimbabwe, the other in 3 days time or 4 days time against the West Indies. What day is it, by the way, today?
Today is Thursday.
3 days time then.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get that second win on Sunday. Decks are clear. You're through to the semi-finals. Forget net run rate. It doesn't matter anymore. The dreaded calculator can be kept away.
Yep.
Right,
Like
Yeah.
in the case of Pakistan and India, this is what we have been reduced to. It's like people are relying on calculators, permutations and combinations. As I said, border may have divided 2 nations. But as far as all expectations go, irrationalities go, all loyalties go, we are united. Because we want certain teams to do well at others' expense. So, first part is done. Second part is going to take place in 12 minutes time at Chepauk, where India will be taking on Zimbabwe. And equation simple, if they win, the margin should be such that they come into the positive territory. And then whatever happens in the West Indies versus India game on Sunday in Kolkata, no NRR, straight shootout. Unless Zimbabwe add their own khichdi to it by beating India. That is why, see,
That's the only thing left now for us to see. In
because
this group.
look, there is no queue yet to South Africa.
No, they should be. They won't be either. Because
If-
there are still 2 teams who can reach 4 points.
If India beats Zimbabwe, then the queue might come.
No.
No,
Because
how?
points.
Only
Yeah,
one will get to 4.
He's right.
Ah,
Faiz.
he's right. Then
He's
one
right.
gets to 4.
He's right.
Only one will get to 4 then.
But mathematically, again, still
Until-
some team can supersede them because
So
even South Africa's net run rate has come down.
Yeah.
They were a 3.
Which is why, if India beats Zimbabwe,
by a heavy margin. today.
not even heavy margin, Zimbabwe will be E, SA will be Q. Because only one will get to
Only
4.
one team will get
Only
to
one
4
gets to
points.
4.
Yeah, because as things stand, realistically, not realistically, I would say
No, they will,
mathematically,
mathematically.
Zimbabwe can also get to 4 points.
Yeah, if they beat India and
Which
South
is
Africa.
exactly why you need to wait for tonight's result before you can put a Q in front of South Africa's name.
Yeah,
That's the
so this is what has happened. Backed by Aiden Markram's brilliant knock of 78, if I'm not mistaken.
Makes him the highest run scorer now in the tournament or not?
I think
82,
he is. I think yes, 82. I think he is. He is the leading run getter now. And backed by aggressive knocks from Quinton de Kock and Ryan Rickleton, West Indies stood absolutely no chance in ensuring that they went through. And I think this has not yet been updated. 82.
Yeah. He's not yet the highest.
I think
He's the
Saib
second
is
highest.
still about 20 behind Saib Farhan.
But the key here is that, see, in hindsight, we were talking about, West Indies got a good total. This was actually an absolute belter of a track to bat on. It got much easier in the second innings particularly, and therefore that 180 odd which they were close to, it's actually turned out to be about 20 runs short. Because the way South Africa went about their business, it looked like they were batting on a different pitch.
Red soil wicket. Let us make it one thing.
Keeping that
clear.
in mind, I think they were 60 short.
Yeah.
Not 20. I think 20 wouldn't have made that big a difference. Probably another 8-9 deliveries and they would have scored those 20 runs as well. You need good 60s. What kind of a partnership was that right at the top? I wouldn't say flawless because there was an opportunity missed as well. But otherwise, Aiden Markram's just getting better and better. Quinton de Kock was 10 of 11, after which from first gear he went straight to sixth gear. And he finishes with a 47 of 24. You're like, oh, just enjoy the action from the other side, Aiden. I've got some strokes in my up my sleeves as well, so might as well enjoy what I have to offer over here.
So now there were 2 undefeated teams. It's now down to only 1.
Right.
Only South Africa have not lost yet. But we do know that as the semi-finals and the finals come, they do start to crack under some pressure. But I think this South African bunch has kind of ensured that, okay, there will be home comforts, let me say, quote unquote, because now they have played games in Ahmedabad, they have not lost. And they are coming to their second home pretty soon, Delhi. The only time where they'll be going out of these 2 homes is the semi-finals. Either in Mumbai or Kolkata, depending upon where they finish.
Yeah.
So, or Colombo, if Pakistan managed to do the unthinkable then.
Yeah, big if.
Big if. So that is why this is the current situation. So, before we come to the India game, and we'll dwell a fair bit on this particular match, I mean, Aiden Markram, and with captaincy, he was spot on. Today with the bat, I mean, that one shot I remember that he hit of Jason Holder. Holder had dug it into the pitch shot. It was rising, but still he managed to hook it to wide long on, 1 bounce 4. What power Markram had. And yes, I think one catch was dropped by Brandon King, if I'm not mistaken. He tried to hit it one over extra cover. I think King dived to his right. I think he got a split webbing, if I'm not mistaken. That puts him in doubt for the next game. So Brandon King in big trouble at that stage. And what can you say on Markram's knock here? Markram.
Look
it's not
how
just Markram, even de Kock, the method in which he was batting, he was striking it at nearly 200. Quinton de Kock.
Yeah.
He made Markram seem slow, and Markram was going at nearly 180, which tells you everything about how effortless they were finding it out there. And we were talking about, look, West Indies not having those many penetrative bowlers. I mean, their best bowlers during this tournament have been the spinners.
Yeah.
The problem was that today the spinners came up on a deck that was not offering them anything. So whilst people were questioning, oh, how can you drop an Akhil? Well, that's why. Because there would have been nothing on the pitch for him. So you couldn't possibly play three spinners. You went with 2 thinking, okay, we've already got 1 left armer in Gudakesh Moti. We may as well get in an off spinner in Roston Chase. He gives you a bit of batting as well. But it didn't really work out for them at all in that sense. It just didn't. And I don't blame them entirely. Conditions were definitely not conducive. By the way, and I'm sorry, I have to stop this discussion, but Sanju Samson is having a very animated conversation with Ravi Shastri on the official, broadcast for the game against Zimbabwe. It does seem likelier and likelier. Every sign is pointing at somehow the Justice League leader managing to get back into the side.
Told you, Chepauk. Chennai Super Kings.
Come to that in just a bit. Maybe it's actually going to be the first time that he's going to be playing in front of what will be his new home.
Yes, he will be. I think he played in that last game that was hosted in Chepauk in 2025 against England. I think he played in that particular game. And after this point in time, so that means you're seeing at 3 changes potentially. Axar in for Washington, Sanju in for Tilak.
That looks to be the thing. Right,
or Rinku.
If it's Rinku,
Rinku's rejoined forces now. I think he will be in the 11 as he should be, I believe. Axar Patel, after all that we discussed, hopefully the Indian team also had a similar analysis about their performance, and hopefully they also feel that Axar adds greater balance to the side. But we'll come to the India match in just a bit. Let's first get things out of the way as far as this match is concerned. The little favour that India, in fact, the massive favour that India needed wasn't little by any stretch. India have that. South Africa, though, are they looking? You know what many people were saying there in Ahmedabad at that time, I remember, before the India-South Africa match. Many felt that this is the final before the final. And now, looking at the win that South Africa had against India and the win that they registered today as well, 2 back-to-back huge wins, by the way, against 2 undefeated sides till the point that they played South Africa. Are South Africa really looking to be the side, as Shane said the other day, looking to serve revenge extremely cold? They've already done that once to the Indian team. Are they here to do what could not be done by them in 2024?
Well, the bish that they couldn't do in 2024, Maybe this Bish is coming up now in 2026.
I don't
Look,
know about the wish, but it's definitely their wish.
it is their wish because look at it.
Serve up a nice cold dish called
Dish.
revenge.
Indeed, because look at how you bounced back South Africa after that traumatic event in Barbados on June 29th.
I mean, everyone thought that would be something they'd either bounce back harder from or it would drag them further into the mire. Well, they bounced back and bounced back hard because they became World Test champions.
And whitewash India in tests in India.
And by the way, who was the key performer for them in that World Test Championship final?
Aiden Markram.
Exactly. A player who, by the way, has flattered to deceive a lot in Test cricket because, again, you watch him bat and you're like, okay, this guy has all the makings of a good counter-attacking Test batter. And then he plays stupid shots.
But
In recent times, he's just been a revelation.
I would slightly disagree because you remember that 1.5 day test in Cape Town. Who got 100 there? Aiden Markram.
No, that's what I'm saying. With Markram, he was been frustrating because if you look at his Test numbers, they're okay. But in the last 2-3 years, he's really pulled his socks up as a Test player.
When you were speaking of the shots that you liked from him, Siddharth, there's another shot I want to take you to. I think it came from him in the first or the second over, where he just rocks back on his back foot and plays it through the cover. He just punches the ball. Again, classic stroke making, doesn't have to do much, play to the merit of the ball.
Yeah.
Prior to that as well, he'd hit a boundary, but this time he didn't have to muscle the ball. It almost was the kind of stroke that you would expect a Sachin to be playing back in the day. Would just shift the body weight to the back foot and punch the ball on the offside. That's the kind of classic stroke play that I saw on a couple of occasions from Aiden Markram, and that slowdown, Shane, that you talked about from the time that he was the aggressor and then Quinton de Kock started looking the more aggressive batter. I think that happened after he just crossed his 50 and de Kock had departed. There was a time, because I was writing that script, I was looking for an Aiden Markram boundary which I didn't find for a good couple of overs. But even then, I think by that time he and his side had realized that really there's no risk taking to be done over here. The match is pretty much pocketed and it's just smooth sailing, which is why I felt that there was a bit of a lean run over there where boundaries are a bit scarce, but bit scarce would be 7-8 deliveries, that's all. But South Africa really looking like a very complete team. Did you guys have a feeling though at some point, because they had West Indies on the absolute floor when they had 7 wickets for about 70 odd, they really should have killed the game over there and they became a bit complacent perhaps?
I don't know if they became complacent. I think, I will blame the West Indies middle order as well for some very ordinary shots.
Okay.
Because I don't think the pitch was bad to bat on. The openers both made decent starts, but then looking to accelerate got out. After that, if you go through the scorecard, you see the middle order, every one of them was playing stupid shots. They would play 2-3, they were playing 2-3 balls, not quite there in terms of strike rate, and then they were playing stupid shots.
Because see, the pitch had nothing to do with any of the dismissals. I'll tell you why. Brandon King went for a bad shot.
Yeah.
Shea Hope again went for a bad shot. Shimron Hetmeyer tried to clear mid-on, but then he holed out to Keshav Maharaj there.
Exactly.
Then you look at Rovman Powell. He hit he was dropped earlier, but then Brevis then took the catch. Straight. He again hit a bad shot at that point. Roston Chase, I think he tried to ride the bounce, but the inside edge dragged it back onto the stumps from Ngidi. And Sherfain Rutherford again, bad shot. Run out, okay, Jason Holder, that was done at that time. Matthew Ford caught Ryan Rickleton again, bad shot.
There's not a single one where I was looking at, in the previous game, I remember that West Indies were playing against Zimbabwe. Some of the bowling they were doing, particularly the left arm spin twins in Moti and Akhil, some of it was phenomenal bowling. He's revving the ball, is getting it to turn sharply away from the right hander. All of that was good bowling. Today, a lot of the time, they were just throwing away their wickets. Yeah. It was nothing. I'm taking nothing away from some of the bowlers. And Giri and the likes were bowling well. But I think their best balls weren't the wicket-taking balls. Because they were bowling, keeping the pressure. And then they were bowling one trap ball that was actually getting them to play a big shot.
You look at the exploits of 2 of South Africa's pace spearheads in Kagiso Rabada and Lungisani Ngidi. Today, I think Delhi Capitals will be laughing for more ways because they have found a very good death overs guy. How do you pick Lungisani Ngidi's dipping slow ball?
That he's mastered.
Funny thing is, just a few weeks back, you were looking at Kyle Jamieson and people like me were drooling because of the success that he had in that series against India. Now you're in a bit of a situation. You got a Ranji champion, hopefully a champion by the end of it. In Akib
all but a champion. Yeah.
who's got to be a starter for you. Kyle Jamieson's been on the sidelines for New Zealand.
Excuse me, Mitch Stark.
There is a mid-Stark who you hope is fit and
You hope he will be, because again he's not going to be
He's
playing
not going to
any
be
T20
playing.
action.
Yeah, so there is him. There's Stark, of course. He's of course going to be the leader of the pack. Then you got an Akib Nabi. Nattu, I think, will perhaps miss out.
You got Kuldeep Axar.
But then you got Kuldeep, you got Axar, and you got to choose one between a Kyle Jamieson or a Lungisani Ngidi. And at the moment, Ngidi, by the way, was good, was okayish in that series against India. But in this World Cup, really,
11 wickets.
In fact, when you were saying Kuldeep and Akshar, right? Now let's give them their actual names. Kuldeep and Akshardeep.
Akshardeep, sure. Yeah. That is the thing we are looking at. So see,
Tribute to someone who's in office.
I think if I have to look at why South Africa are doing so well is because of Ngidi.
Yeah.
Because of his exploits in the death overs, because of the way how he is bowling and flummoxing the batters. I mean, look at it. Last 2 overs, Bosch and Ngidi conceded only 13 runs.
Yeah.
Last 2. West Indies could have very well got to 190, 195.
I really think that World Test Championship title has done wonders to South African cricket. It's really taken the monkey off the back, and it reflects in the way that they speak, the way that they approach, the way that they are willing to take down big opposition, the way that they had their plans in place against India. Perhaps they took their foot off the gas in that brief stage after they had West Indies 7 down. I felt that they did become a bit complacent, to answer my own question, and maybe they should have closed things out rather quickly. But at the moment, they really look a team that means serious business over here in this World Cup. Just another 10 days left, we'll have a new champion emerge. And at the moment, South Africa, I would say, perhaps ticked an extra box than perhaps the Indian team, who went in and who many were saying were perhaps the runaway favourites.
Yeah.
From a planning point of view, from an execution point of view, I think South Africa just edging India right now.
But South Africa reminds me a bit of how with RCB, like when their women's team won the Women's Premier League. Suddenly, this is a franchise who had been, the entire narrative around them was that they were a well-supported team who never won anything. When they suddenly won that, I felt like that actually proved to be a little bit of a booster mentally, even for their men's team. Because it was like, okay, even the men's team realized, okay, the way, because again, their management had also changed, and the manner in which they started assembling teams, very good. And then thereafter, the men's team seemed to take confidence in the fact that, listen, if the women's team can do it, so can we. 24, they were good. They didn't end up making the final, or even, did they make the playoffs? I don't think they made the playoffs. They made the playoffs. RCB in 24.
Yes, they did make it.
Yeah.
Men's team you're talking about. Yeah, the eliminator.
They made the eliminator, they lost out. But then suddenly that also told them that, listen, we built a good team. That 25, they went the distance. Now 26, they've got the WPL as well. So they are suddenly, it's like they went from winning nothing to it becoming when it rains, it pours. And I think South Africa may be going the same route as well. I had said that there is one team I see aside from India being the outright favourites to lift the cup, and that is South Africa. I had said that in the beginning of the tournament. I think a lot of you guys, even whether it be you guys sitting here or those watching us, who agreed with me, saying that no, they look like the most rounded team.
I mean,
and basis that series that took place last month or last month against South Africa, everyone felt that no, they're not quite there. But look at how much progress they've made, and that, by the way, was also a time where they were not even fielding their best 11.
I know.
That is what. Okay, so that has the team news already.
Team news for the Indian side.
Before we get into that,
First news, Zimbabwe have won the toss, opted to field. Oh dear God.
Because Abhishek Sharma, Sanju Samson. That's your opening combination.
Where's TILAK?
Ishan Kishan is at 3.
Yeah.
Surya Kumar Yadav is at 4. TILAK is at 5.
What?
No Rinku Singh.
They haven't taken a Rinku.
No Rinku Singh.
They've again gone back to the Shivam Dube as a finisher.
Hardik Pandya at 6. Shivam Dube at 7.
And Akshar
at 8.
Akshar Patel is at 8.
So no washing.
Arshdeep Singh at 9. Varun Chakravarti at 10. Jasprit Bumrah at 11.
So no Rinku Singh.
No Rinku.
So they've dropped Rinku Singh, and they're opening. They've gone back to the I don't know
25 starting of 2025.
Should we call them or
Abhisan.
Sheikh?
Abhi Sanira.
Or Sam Sheikh.
No,
They've
no.
gone back to that particular.
Abhi
opening
Sanira.
duo. Oh dear Lord, that's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Sanju Samson is back in the Indian cricket team and he's playing in his new home ground of
Chennai.
Chepauk. I told you guys that Chennai Super Kings connection somewhere down the line, it's manifesting into his arrival. And yes, he and Abhishek now with a combined total in 10 matches, 83 runs.
Let's just go through what exactly has happened over here. Haven't the Indian team, have they really addressed the issue that was there?
No, they've gone and made a new problem for themselves.
Exactly. Let's try and see what they've done over here. The problem was that you weren't getting runs at the top. The problem was that you wanted to see how is it that you can find runs from the first two. What you've done over here is you've added a new guy into the mix. The in form batter has been moved to number 3 and the out of form batter remains where he was earlier on as well. And on top of that, you've removed an out and out specialist, out and out finisher that you have in Rinku, and you've pushed everyone one notch down in that batting order. I'm not too sure if I really like what the Indian team have done over here. Perhaps I would have been okay if a Tilak Verma had gone out, because you've again asked him to do a new job altogether. Now you can't just what was the biggest criticism of Tilak Verma? That he wasn't able to apply the big strokes if he's thrown into the middle from the word go. How is it now that he does that? Because now the expectation will be just exactly to do to be scoring runs right from the word go.
I was wondering which of the two statements was a lie from Sudhanshu Kotak in that press conference that happened yesterday. On one hand, he's saying like we are talking about the change. Okay. We are talking about the change at this point in time when we have to say left, right, off spin. We will talk about it. But in the same press conference, towards the fag end, he said, we are not worried about Abhishek and Tilak.
Well, clearly not
Well,
that worried.
we are not that worried. Now, both statements are apparently true. There is no lie. Because they were talking about it and that's why they made the change. Sanju in.
It's becoming a theme. I remember the press conference from Suryakumar Yadav, the one that everyone remembers now because of the laughing and the giggling that happened in that press conference. I'm talking about the same one in which he had first said, no, we're not worried about Tilak's form. No, we're not unhappy with the way that he's approaching. This is exactly the role that's been given to him to lay down a foundation, etc., etc. La lila da di da. But he also then ends in the same answer. He ends it by saying that knowing Tilak, he will not be happy with the way he's batting right now. Speak about singing two different tunes.
So, number 5, my goodness, this is the way that you have given.
I don't understand. Tilak has rarely batted a shade under 3 or 4 in the entirety of his IPL and India career.
Once
on a
Mumbai
blue
Indians.
moon.
You remember he was like struggling to time the ball, he had to be retired out. One game, MILSG. That was the only time he was batting lower down the order, but since then he's not. He's an anchor. Now,
Or even if he's not an anchor, he's someone who can be aggressive in the middle order.
Yeah.
He's best suited to bat at either 3 or 4. That is his best position. You've taken a big risk. And see, this is what I find weird. You were anyway asking him to kind of curb his instincts. And now you're telling Tilak, like, Tilak, be a good chap. The team needs it. You need to drop down to number 5. For the love of God, I really hope this works out because I feel so many ways about this particular decision.
You know, you might just scrape through. Again, it's going to be a huge upset if even with this 11, no matter what the balance of this team, maybe you're winning this one in all
My point is,
likelihood.
I'm not looking at the result.
But-
I will look at performances.
But my thing is, again, you will get away with a win today.
Yeah.
But this isn't the ideal combination to go with
By no
in
stretch
the
of
semi-final
imagination.
or against the West Indies for that matter.
Exactly.
That is what
Exactly.
worries me at the moment. It's not about the result today. I am pretty confident that with this team, because there's just so many individual performers over there, the balance, even though it may not be perfect right now, it's still enough for you to seal a win against a Zimbabwe. I'm not too sure if you fielded your best 11 for the second straight match. That is my problem.
No, and see, here's the thing. I agree with you. I was one of the only people on this panel who defended and said that, listen, boss, you have to give Sanju a long enough rope. When he didn't perform.
This you're talking even
this
after
I'm
the
talking,
series?
No, this I'm talking prior to the New Zealand series. Remember, I said very clearly that, listen, people were saying even then, oh, he's not been performing, drop him. I said, no, you have to be fair. You have to give him 5 matches. After that, take a call.
I was with
The
you.
problem there is that you've now gone back on that call. You made the tough call, and now you've gone back on that tough call because, combinations, matchups. I mean, tell your batters to go and learn how to play off spin. I'm sorry, it's not that tough. Being a left-hander, it's not some sort of a poisoned ivy if you come across a left or an off spinner. It isn't. I am sorry. Go and learn in the nets how to play off spin. It's not that hard.
Because look at your two off spinners that are going to face. Maybe Brian Bennett and Sikandar Raza. Maybe Bennett may not get a chance to bowl.
I think it'll be most likely Raza who might bowl early on because he bowls on the power play.
Okay.
So he'd be the one.
But I'm more concerned about the twin towers. Blessing Muzarabani and Richard Angarawa.
Yeah.
Now on this Chepauk wicket, which is now relayed, it's a lottery. Let me tell you one thing. It's a lottery at this point in time.
Siddharth, before you share that information, because we're talking about combination, just wanted to share with everyone what Tilak's numbers look like in T20 internationals when batting at number 5, because that's what would...
Has he batted at number 5?
That's what we're looking at today. Yes,
Yeah.
5 instances of him batting at number 5. 110 runs, highest score of 62, averaging 28. I'm rounding it off. It's 27.5 and a strike rate of 144. If I'm getting just this kind of an average and strike rate from the Tilak that I've had, maybe I'm taking it. Maybe. And yeah, just a further breakdown of those 110 runs, it comes at the back of a 50. As I said, that highest score of 62 explains that 50 as well. So those are his numbers. It's not as bad as, let's say, in the case of Sanju Samson, where you see there being a huge divide of him as an opener and him as a middle order batter.
Okay. So, interestingly, they have dropped Wellington Masagadza, the left armer. They are not picking a left-hander in this lineup at all because Wellington Masagaza, look at it. You got Abhishek, you got Tilak, you've got
4 out of 8 who are left-handers.
Left-handers. So it made sense too, and that's why Tino Tenda Mafosa has come in. Kramer's also out, by the way.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
There's no Kramer.
Yeah.
Seinfeld will be disappointed.
I know, Tino Tenda Maposa has replaced Graham Kramer. But I don't think they're going with 2 leg spinners because Burl's a leg spinner. Ryan Burl's a leg spinner. I think they're not looking at 2 leg spinners. And I think India play leg spin better than off spin if you look at it. So that is why I think they have made this particular change at this point in time. It's a tactical change. That's what Sikandar Raza has mentioned. So, am I surprised that they have made the change? No, I am not surprised. Especially with Sanju, I'm not surprised at all because now...
It was so evidently hinted at in the press conference, it couldn't have... Like, the only way he would have made it more obvious is if he actually said, we're playing Sanju tomorrow. Otherwise, this is an Indian team who are as opaque and cryptic in press conferences as like a seer who doesn't know anything very much. Oh, this could happen, that could happen. We trust all our players. Everyone steps up when the opportunity comes. Yada, yada, yada. No. He was like, oh, we'll have a look. It wasn't just him. I remember Tendulkar.
I was about to say that only. For 2 press conferences now, you were given an indication that Sanju Samson is going to be. In fact, this is something that that we also were discussing at the start of the day as well, that it looked as clear as day that you're seeing Sanju Samson be there in the 11. No real problems. Okay, there is a bench, there's a squad of 15 for a reason, and you felt that this was the time for you to be bringing in somebody who can just give you more balance. What you've done is you've admitted that spin is a problem and now you're trying to defeat the matchups over here. That's the only reason why Sanju Samson's here, and not because Abhishek Sharma is out of form. Because if Abhishek Sharma was out of form, then he would be out of the 11. And if that was looked at as the bigger problem that India had to solve. Right now, this 11 tells me that Sanju Samson's here. Both your openers from the previous match are here. It just tells me one thing. You just want to win the matchups battle, which you've been losing till now.
That's what irritates me, because you know what? I just
and
realized that...
before you come in, Shane, because and my problem with this is not that you've suddenly changed you've suddenly changed the mantra. I think the problem here is not addressing the real issue. You've changed the goalpost over here in all of this. Till now, you were telling us 6 out of 8 left-handers completely fine by us. We trust all our batters.
5 out of 8, but yeah.
6 out of 8.
No, 5.
No, 6 out of 8 were left-handers for you.
No, you're 6 or was it 5?
6.
Oh yeah, you only had Sky and Hardik.
Exactly. 6 out of 8.
Abhishek, Ishan, Tilak,
Everyone. 8 was
Dubey, Rinku, Axar.
6.
So 6 out of 8 for you. Till now, all bilaterals, year and a half. You're like, okay, 6 out of 8. In fact, going
Actually,
into
in
the tournament,
bilaterals, you had 5. Because remember, you had Sanju opening more often than not.
you had Sanju at times.
But
open
you
as
said
well.
it. You said in the World Cup, listen, boss, we need our best
Best
performing
for-
players.
Exactly. So you said we're fine with 6 out of 8 because we back each and every one of those. Now
No.
what's happened?
You know what has happened? 2-3 instances. I mean, Sanju didn't perform. But Tilak wasn't there in the bilaterals, remember, because he was injured.
Yeah.
So who stepped in? And Ishan
Ishan.
Kishan.
But then what you've done, Siddharth, and this is what really grinds my gears a little bit, is that in order to accommodate for matchups, the best opener in the tournament so far, your best opener in the World Cup so far, has been demoted to number 3 for no fault of his own. Actually, that is what really gets me. You've sacrificed your finisher. Chalo, okay. Sometimes for the greater good, you have to make one sacrifice. You push Tilak down to number 5, a position where he's unequivocally not that good. Again, for the team. You've also told your best opener to bat at number 3. Again, for the team. I'm sorry. Even if they win, I have massive problems because this is
The balance.
such a balance is off. It's so horribly reactionary. I'm sorry. I always maintain that for ICC tournaments, the best way to go is you have a settled 11 that will only change if there is some sort of an injury issue. Horses for courses never won you an ICC title. Period.
No, what's happened over here is, and let's bring in Siddharth also. I think what the Indian team with its 11 today has done is it's told us that there were panic stations after that loss.
We said it. We said it prior.
What
And now
did-
it's been proved.
What did we say? That's the one thing we did not want. If you wanted there to be some... Now you've told those following Indian cricket that, listen, we know we're in a spot of bother and we really need things to fall in line now. Instead of... And the one way of telling that to the world is that everything's fine, the house is in order, is by not making wholesale changes. Or making changes that do sensibly and rationally appear to be the right changes to do as well. At the moment, some of these changes defeat cricketing logic, and that's my problem over here, because you've pushed everyone down. You've taken a Tilak who was struggling at 3 to number 5. That's a whole different role altogether. Time and again we've heard, I remember in fact this is something I'd asked him over here in Delhi, Suryakumar Yadav said it, if there is a situation where we're losing wickets, it's Tilak's job and my job to lay the foundation down. From laying the foundation down, and that was just for those batting at 3 or 4, not number 5. Now Tilak's number 5. You've changed the role for Tilak.
Entirely.
Completely. You've completely changed the role for Tilak. And you know, nothing against Tilak. We know he's got the strokes as well, but at the moment, you're asking an out of form or let's say devoid of
pressure.
runs, under pressure Tilak to be doing the hard job right now. That's my problem, and this is where I feel the balance may not be right.
Also, you had at number 5, even Hardik was coming in, it was a problem. But Dubey was doing a good job there. Now you've pushed him lower also, where he has struggled. So many chops and changes, and I will mention this as a problem regardless of the result. It doesn't give me a good sign. And Siddharth, you can tell me if you agree or disagree. If this is how they're going to go about with things against the West Indies, boss, you're looking at problems.
See, I can understand where the frustrations and all these kind of things come about. I mean, when was the last time Tilak batted at 5? I mean, you check the numbers, right? Possibly about a year or so back. Perhaps, okay. Your openers, you were choosing a rock and a hard place. You got both. You got a rock and a hard place. Okay.
It's either a rock or a hard place.
It is rock and a hard place.
You've made it worse.
Okay. But if you look at that period of dominance that India have had from 24 till now, okay, these issues persisted. You won when Suryakumar Yadav was not in form. But then why you couldn't drop him? He was the captain. You still won when Shubman Gill wasn't performing at the top of the order.
You couldn't drop him why?
Because
was
he
the
was
future
your
vice captain.
future. And
Future
now
captain.
you took the hard call before the World Cup, you dropped him. Okay. Now, despite all of that, I agree. India start as the overwhelming favourites against Zimbabwe.
No, Siddharth, here what you've done is, you've done the wrong thing. Again, this is, if you're finding ways of accommodating people over here, then the same way Shubman Gill could also have been accommodated, by the way. Just have your inform opener bat at number 3. This is what you've done over here.
Why are we now going into the Gill PR machinery at this
Hey,
point
it's
in
not
time?
about PR.
Again,
I'm
I'll
just
be
saying,
hypothetical.
what you've
That
done
is the
over
thing,
here is
yeah.
you've tried to accommodate people, and that's my problem.
That's the problem.
In trying to accommodate people, the balance is being lost. That's my problem here. Because what did you have to worry about? The worry was not the matchup. It's not what I say. It's about what the team has been telling us time and time. So if you have not fallen for matchups, the matchups weren't a problem. The problem was that you weren't getting runs from your opening pair. And then perhaps you had to just deal with Abhishek.
See, despite all of that, all the matchups, all the thing, oh, this will be a problem, that will be a problem, this could happen, that could happen, you still kept on winning, right? One loss has put the cat amongst the pigeons. You're now scattered. But you might still win. Not just this, you could win even against the West Indies also. So all this talk about the matchup and all of that thing, it will be thrown out of the window. Because I'll tell you why. Sanju Samson's introduction, what it has done. It's ensured that whatever kryptonite that you wanted against off spin, that has been nullified. So even before a ball has been bowled, his presence has nullified the off spin kryptonite. Okay, it's another matter altogether that Sanju's record against spin is also questionable. Only certain facets, like spin, he's got a mixed record.
Yeah, he'll either hit or get out.
Yeah,
But that's my thing. Imagine the irony if Sanju Samson gets out to Sikandar Raza.
for me, I think Sikandar Raza is not the problem. On a fresh Chennai wicket,
The Twin Towers.
the Twin Towers, that is my only concern. Left arm pace and right arm. And Muzarabani, let us make one thing clear, has been the guy in form for Zimbabwe. Ever since he suffered that back stress fracture, his action has changed and is looking far more better now.
You know, Muzrabani has been in such good
6'9",
form.
what is he?
I think he's 6'8", 6'9". And Engarwa 6'7", 6'8".
Muzrabani has been in such good form. I've seen certain sections of KKR fans on social media call for him to be signed as a replacement player for Fizz. That's the kind of form he's been showing that people are actually considering it. Normally, how often do you see something like that being considered? And no disrespect.
Muzrabani was with RCB, remember, in 2025.
Yes, I know. And that's what I'm saying. But he didn't play much, right? I think a couple of games he played.
I think only one game, if I'm not mistaken.
So that's the thing. I'm saying people are actually considering it because that's the kind of form he's shown in India. That shows you how quickly his stock has risen. And yeah, you're right. On a fresh pitch, which you don't really know because you haven't played on at all, it's either going to be a belter, but what if there's early demons? What if the, the thoda sa idhar udhar.
Because Stephen Fleming himself has said that, look, I've been here in Chennai, I've not been able to make sense of what the wicket is about a couple of seasons.
They've not been able to make sense of Chennai since at least 23.
24.
Yeah.
24, 25. That's why they have been struggling.
Even 23. I remember, Siddharth, there were matches where it played absolutely flat.
Yeah.
Then they switched to another pitch later and it used to be spinning like, 2012, 16 type.
That would happen after the first few matches.
Yeah,
you're right.
always.
You're right.
Yep.
So they themselves haven't been able to quite read the pitch, which tells you everything.
What I'm saying is, this is a far from perfect team, but they have continued winning. Barring this one loss. And remember, even in between series is also, what is the other trend? You did lose one game. You did lose a game, but you went on to win the series comprehensively.
So this could very well, that last game could have been that one game.
That one game, okay? In this entire 2-year period, you have not lost 2 matches in a series or in a major event in that sense.
Yeah, because 25 Champions Trophy you didn't lose. 25 Asia Cup you didn't lose.
23 you didn't lose. 23 only one game you lost.
You did lose, I mean.
22 also, when you look at it, you lost only 2 games. One was South Africa, the other was the semi-final.
And South Africa also was a game you could have won were it not for an absolute
3 dropped catches.
3 drop catches and also a pitch that really played to South Africa's strengths. It was a fiery Perth Stadium track.
Who hurt you there? Lungisani Ngidi and Kagiso Rabada and some good hitting from David Miller. So that's why these 3 remain. So that is why a far from perfect Indian side will deliver the goods even here.
Well, let's see how does the family members feel about this because we've been
They'll be jubilant.
Well, it could be jubilant. There could be others who will also say that there are some issues with this because again
they could be echoing what we've just said that
Exactly,
perhaps
that you
this
panicked.
11 and you missed the forest for the woods.
Exactly. Let's see.
Ashish
sir says South Africa playing in Ahmedabad or Bullring. Aiden ko dhokli.
Man, I mean, they are now really the only unbeaten team in this competition. And remember, Ahmedabad, they got out of jail with a double super over against Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That could have been.
I like what Rakesh Bhushan says. Tilak has more dot balls now. He's pushed down the order. God save the Indian team if Tilak gets stuck. Hard to understand Tilak's position. I agree. The problem with him has been a lack of strike rotation and playing out dot balls. And your solution was stick him at number 5.
You're doing with him what you've done to Sanju Samson a few years back. Sanju, Remember, we see potential in you.
Ishan also.
You are a finisher.
And then you didn't send him to the bench.
Then you benched him. Then you reintroduced him as the opener. Then you made him say things like, he just wants to be in the 11. I'll bowl left arm spin. I can bat anywhere from 1 to 9. And then he's benched all over again. Then he gets 5 matches. Then he gets dropped. I don't know what really has happened over here.
Rakesh says, also he adds that what you did in bilaterals, forget it. The pitches were flat there. See the ball, hit the ball. Here in the World Cup, pitches are different. These players are falling flat. As such, changes are mandatory. Your 15 is wrong. Iyer was a must here. I mean, you couldn't have picked him though.
Yeah, the only problem was that TILAK was going good at that time.
And Sky is your captain.
And Sky is your captain. But again, you need a very solid reason to be showing the door to somebody like a TILAK who had just won you the Asia Cup a couple of months back.
Exactly.
You could not have ignored a TILAK, and that was
Hindsight
the
is
only way.
easy, yeah?
Exactly. I know Shreyas Iyer's name, especially over the last couple of days after the debacle against South Africa, has come up, as did Virat Kohli's name. But please, let's be realistic about things. It's difficult. You can only name 15. You need a backup keeper, so that's one slot gone out of the 4 slots that you usually have in a squad of 15. Then you really need a backup pacer as well, a backup all-rounder.
This is such a brutal format. That's why being a cricketer in the subcontinent is the toughest job. 4 months ago, you were hailing TILAK as the next avatar of greatness.
The best thing since sliced bread. Now?
And now, man.
Everyone's starting him like a pack of moldy bread.
You
exactly
sharpened your knives against TILAK.
I mean, it's very wrong, but see, that's how the fan bases will react at this point. Vishal is saying, horses for courses, GG as expected, isn't. When was GG horses for courses?
Horses for courses kind of guy.
Never.
Yeah, this is panic, plain and simple.
Panic, but you're luckily getting away because remember, on any other given day, it would have been Australia here in Chepauk. Remember, X2 was Australia.
Yeah.
But again, they are not there, thankfully. That is the scene we are looking at. So, go down.
The next one. That's taken.
Yeah. Vishal again. TILAK at 5 doesn't work. Ideally should have been dropped for Sanju if they needed right hand, left hand and let Rinku continue. Rinku has thankless job sadly, yeah? Justice for Rinku. Are we trending that? No, it won't be trending.
It won't be trended because he doesn't have the PR machinery of certain players. I will say it though, justice for Rinku, very hard done by. You give him the toughest job and then when he doesn't perform in 1-2 matches, be like, oh, he's not good enough. Yeah. Boss, I've watched him for years. This guy is more than good enough to be walking into any team.
Also, let's not forget, he will save you runs.
Yeah.
Whether he gets to bat or not, he has some contribution this way or the other.
Yup, indeed. And Vishal again is saying, I think he took that
We took that one. Scroll all the way down. You've got Rajat Agarwal saying, great for us that the burden of favourites now shifts to South Africa.
You only think so. 2 wins again, India get, and the pressure's back again on them.
Yup. Why is this World Cup so dead and the stadiums are so empty?
But Ritika, that is the sad reality of a World Cup in the subcontinent. Is that it will always be full for matches of, say, like, because in the case of Sri Lanka, although I remember even Sri Lanka was struggling to sell some of their, some of their stadiums. But otherwise, you will always see fans come to support their own team and that's it.
Yeah, did we not see that in Ahmedabad?
Yeah.
It made for an eyesore. You were playing the inaugural match of the 2023 World Cup here in India and there were hardly any fans.
Exactly.
Why have we selected? We've taken this one.
We have taken Rakesh Bhushan. Yeah, but then again,
that's the thing.
See, a 130,000 stadium 30,000
the problem at that time, I agree with you. So that was also the choice of venue. A non-India match, you're picking the biggest stadium, cricket stadium in the world there is.
In Sri Lanka, there is the problem of
ticket prices.
Yeah. Very expensive. Some people can't afford a ticket price. That's
also,
why
I don't blame for these empty stadiums. I think it's the mistake of the organizers. Primarily because you still, by the way, as things stand, you don't know whether semi-finals will be taking place. How do people book their tickets?
You have pre-seeding to ensure fans can travel, but good luck trying to figure out the semi-finals.
So the whole fate of one particular game was decided a week before the tournament began. So this is cricket for you.
Tomorrow you will find out, if not definitely by Saturday, because 4th you'll find out whether that match will be held in Colombo or India. So that is the thing. So
I love mutton biryani. We'll end this with the stream with his comment. He says, "This guy, we are being critical
and negative.
negative."
Why are you echoing Dasun Shanaka, yaar? Doesn't Shanaka
I
blame the
believe,
negativity?
but again, I don't like these team combinations, and I'm sticking to that stance.
Yep. So it is one of the twin towers who's going to bowl in Richard and Garawa, and Blessing Muzrabani mostly will come from the other end. I think they want to ensure that they get that extra bounce that is there at Chepauk.
Who's it? Is it Sanju who's taking strike?
I think it'll be Sanju.
Could
taking
be
strike.
left armor against. Yeah.
Yeah.
On one end, there's an out of form batter. On the other, you've got a batter
Yes,
who's just
it is
been thrown into the big.
N Garawa
Who's also out of form.
Sanju.
Who's also was last we saw was a 22 run knock.
Any predictions?
22 of 9.
Any predictions, boys?
Okay, India are batting first. So
Okay, runs. No.
nope,
runs.
not yet.
Okay.
Shivam
the hell,
says.
Shivam?
Shivam is predicting a
You
Zimbabwe win.
Siddharth felt that you were almost dancing naked, and now you're saying things like.
I don't need that image in my head.
And now you're saying that.
Reverse jinx, yeah. Reverse
jinx.
jinxing.
What is on with you guys?
Oh, Kettlebro is the umpire, by the way.
Yeah. I think India will make about 190, and I think it'll be an easy win.
Shivam, pakka you think Zimbabwe are winning? Be jokes aside, please tell us.
He's.
What?
It's
What's
about
taking
as
you
certain.
so long?
It's about as certain as the support for Lucknow Super Giants at this point. in time.
Just because the logo's changed.
Yeah.
No, because they
That's
dropped.
a six.
Oh, that's a good shot.
What's really
That's a
okay.
6. That's a 6.
It's gone all the way.
Sanju!
Yeah.
Sanju.
That's a 6. It was a flat batted 6 for long
Chalo,
off.
we'll
Okay.
see. Shivam doesn't want to tell us.
He's
his-
predicted. Are you predicting? I'll
yeah,
predict you.
I'm going 192 for India.
205 India win.
Okay.
Yep.